Hey guys, it's LEGO Boy Z3. This is my tutorial on the mirror cube. So this is the mirror cube. Pretty much it's just the exact same thing as a normal 3x3 Rubik's Cube. And so if you do not know how to solve one of those already, then go ahead and check out my tutorial. It'll be in the description below. And once you know how to do that, it's just a little bit challenging to figure out how to apply those algorithms onto this cube, but it gets pretty easy once you know how to do it. And so now it's all scrambled up so we can begin. And so the concept of this puzzle pretty much is instead of each side having a color, it has a thickness. And so you see this is like one side, this is another, and they're all very different. And so you have to match up all the thicknesses, the similar thicknesses. And so if you have this layer and it's complete, that means these pieces are all the same thickness. And so what I like to do to make it a little bit easier is to start with the very lowest one. And so it's pretty easy to tell just by moving pieces around. So I can already tell that the thinnest one is right here. And so we'll start with this one. And we'll start off pretty much the same way that we would on any other Rubik's Cube. So we'll find a piece, an edge piece that needs to go in the first cross. And so in this case, I know that this thickness is the same as the center. You see these would be the same color on a normal cube. And so I'll have to put this piece in, but first we have to match up this edge of it to another piece, in this case this center piece. This is just like matching up the color of the piece to another color, like pretend this is green, and then the matching of white up here at the top. And so we can just continue on with the rest of the pieces. So this step is just completely intuitive, just like the normal cross, so it's pretty easy to just do it by yourself. But you see here we'll find another piece that has the same thickness, match it up with its correct color piece right there, and bring it up to the top. And so now we have a little bit of a line. Make sure they all match up just like this, and then we'll find another thickness. This one's already matched up in the right spot to the center, so we can move it up to that spot. And then finally we can find the last one, which in this case would be right here, I believe. Yeah, I think like that. And we'll match it up with the centerpiece, bring it up to the top, and then be sure to bring that piece back up to the top too. And so there we go, we have the very first cross. It's pretty simple. You just do the same thing that you do for a normal cross, just making sure that you use the height of pieces instead of the colors. It can be a little bit confusing because when you're looking at the height of the piece, it's actually on this axis that you'll look at. If you want to figure out the height of the pieces on this side, instead of looking right here, you'd look right here. And so when you're looking at this layer, they should all be this height. And so that was pretty simple. And so now what we want to do is we want to put all of the correct corner pieces in. And so this is an example of a correct corner piece. It's already in its right spot. That just happened automatically. And so what we can do is we can look on the bottom layer, look for a corner piece of this thickness, the same as the top layer. And what we can do is we can move it around until we find the spot that we think it goes into. In this case, I can tell that the dimensions of this piece would fit well into this spot right here. And so what we would do is we do our normal algorithm, r prime, d prime, r, d. If you don't already know that algorithm, you should go back to the beginner's method tutorial. But you see, it got the piece right in there. Now we can find the next piece. Here's one of the same one. And then we can put it up into this slot because it's the correct one. R prime, d prime, r, d. R prime, d prime, r, d. R prime, d prime, r, d. You see that one is in now. And finally, the very last one is over here, and so we can move it underneath its slot. Do r prime, d prime, r, d a couple of times until it gets it in. You should remember this from the beginner's method, but of course, if you're looking around on the bottom layer and you can't find any pieces of the correct thickness or color on a normal cube, they're probably already all in their slots. And so what you want to do is just take one of them out, r prime, d prime, r, d, move it into the correct spot, or if it was just rotated, put it back into its spot. Just like this a couple of times. And then once you're done with that, you can just put the correct one that you got out of there back into the right spot up here. Okay, there we go. So now we have the very first layer, and you see they're all the exact same height all the way along here. And so make sure the centers are lined up and everything. And so now we can begin doing the edges of the second layer. And so what we want to do is we just kind of want to move this top layer around until you find a piece that matches up with the height of one of these pieces. And so that's not quite correct. This one's not right, this one's not right, so we can turn it. In this case, it lined right up, and you see this piece is the same height as this one, and so that means it needs to go either right here or right here. And so in this case, I can just move the side to tell it's not there, and it definitely does go there. And so we can't just put it right in because that's not how it works. What we need to do is just do the standard algorithm. And so we need to put this piece to the left. So we do the left side algorithm, U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, F prime. And you see the piece got right in. And so now we can continue on with the rest of the pieces. You may notice that if a piece lines up like this, it may not go into either of these slots. You see neither of those are correct, and that means that it just stays on the top layer. So you see it also lines up to this height right here, and so this piece doesn't go in the middle layer, it goes on the top layer. So we can just leave that alone for now. So now we can find another one. Here's one, this one goes right over to the side there, and we can bring it in using the same algorithm that we used before. Same beginner's method algorithm as normal. And then this one, which way does it go? It goes right here, and it goes into that slot right there. So we can again use the left side algorithm. We're just getting lots of left sides. And then finally the very last one also goes into the left side, and so we can do the left side algorithm and put the edge piece right into place. Of course, if there were a piece that lined up right here, I needed to go into the right, so it lines up right there. You could just do the standard right side algorithm, which is U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. If you can't find any remaining pieces on the top layer that need to go in, but they're not all solved yet, that could mean a number of things. First of all, one or more of the pieces could be flipped in place, and so you see in this case, this piece is in the right place, it just needs to be flipped around. And so what we can do in this case is just do the standard algorithm. Either of them will work, just like this. And then we can find the piece that we just took out. It should be somewhere around here. I believe it's this one. And then you see it goes right into the slot there. And so we can just move it in using the same algorithm. And there we go. And it'll go right in. One more thing is that if you can't find any more pieces on the top layer, they could just be flipped around in their slots. So these two pieces need to be flipped around. And so what we need to do is just take it out of the first slot over here. And so we find that piece and then move that one into its correct spot, which is over here. Use that algorithm. And then finally we find the last piece over here and put it right into its slot there using our remaining algorithm. And so we just finished the first two layers, so now we can begin on with the last layer. And so you see here, to figure out what case you have to get the cross, what you need to do is just look at the height of the pieces like normal. And so none of these are correct, none of them are the same as the centerpiece. And so that means we have a dot case. So from any orientation, we can just do the standard algorithm. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. Now we should have the L case, so we line that up in the back. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. Now we have the line case, because these ones are the only ones that line up. And then you do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And now we have the cross. And then once you get to here, you want to match up the heights of all these edge pieces, the secondary heights, here, 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 and here, onto these centers. And so what we can do is just see if any of them line up. One of them does, only one, and so we can continue moving it. None of them do. Let's see, just one. No. Yeah, one right here does. And keep going. And see. Yeah, now we have two of them. And so now we have these two pieces lined up. And what we can do is we can put those in the back right, like we normally do. Do R, U, R, prime, U, R, U2, R prime. And then just finished off with a U move. And now we have all of them in the right spot. Of course, if the two correct pieces were directly across from each other, just like in the beginner's method, what you do is your standard algorithm right here, and then that would line these two pieces up, and you can put those in the back now, and do it one more time, and then it'll get them all lined up like this. Okay, so we're almost done. So this is probably the hardest case to recognize. Pretty much you just want to take one piece at a time and see if they're in the right spot. And so if we were to rotate this piece so this height would match up with this height, I'm pretty sure it would be way too big. So you see this square would not line up with this little square right here. A little bit too big. And so we can go on to the next piece. This one's not right. This square, that would not match up. This one is too small. It wouldn't match up. And this one is also too small. And so none of the pieces are in the correct spot. And so what we can do is the standard algorithm like this. And then what we need to do is look around again. So this piece is not right because it would not fit in that spot. this piece is right. And so these two aren't right either. And so now we'll have one piece that's in the right spot. And so we can hold it over and to the right. Do the algorithm just like normal. And then we can look around the cube again. And this piece is right, this piece is right, this piece is right, and this piece is right. So they're all in the right spot. And so we can continue on with the last step, which is just orienting all the corner pieces. So we can do R prime D from RD until this one gets into the correct spot, which will take a while, just like it always does. D, and then do a U move, and just keep doing it until all the pieces not only are in the right spot, but also are correct in their spot. There we go. Now this one right here, and then we can finish it off with this one right over here. There we go. And then we can just finish it off with a last layer move until it lines up on a cube like this, and your cube is now solved. So I hope this tutorial helped you. If it did not help you, then don't complain in the comments. What you should do is go back to the beginner's method. If you do not know that totally and completely, then go back to that method and figure out how to do it before coming to this cube. If you do have any questions or you don't understand something, first of all, you should try and figure it out by yourself, because it is a pretty intuitive cube to do once you already know how to do a 3x3, and so it's pretty easy to just line up the pieces in your mind just like doing a 3x3. But if that still doesn't work, you can leave a comment down below and ask me if you have any problems with this method in particular. And that's pretty much it. If you like this video, you can leave a like down below to show me that. Stay subscribed to be notified when another video like this comes out, and leave some suggestions down in the comments below for other videos that I can make like this in the future. And I'll see you guys next time.